When you buy a home, they tell you exactly what your monthly mortgage payment is going to be. They tell you what you're going to be paying in principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. What they're not able to tell you is how long different parts of your home are going to last. So today, I wanted to talk to you about the different systems in your home, what kind of an average lifespan each one of them has, and make sure you can be ready for the hidden costs of home ownership. This is Monday Mornings with Mark. Hi, I'm your host, Mark J. Schmidt of RE/MAX Country and MoveMeMark.com, where I help you get the most out of the real estate market and your home. If you're new here and you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out. Now, I'll tell you, this video came about because last week I had Bob Blaine of Bob Blaine Plumbing and Heating right here in North Brunswick out to my home to install a new hot water heater. And it really got me thinking, you know what? We have all these different systems in our homes and we need to maintain them, and every so often we need to replace them. And while replacing some of these systems is not much fun, it's much more fun spending your money on maybe a new kitchen or a new bathroom or decorating. We still need to take care of them because obviously every home needs hot water and every home is going to need things like heat and cooling and all that good stuff. So today, I want to talk to you about how long you can expect to last with these systems in your home and what you can do to get every dime possible out of them. So let's get started. We're going to start with the hot water heater I was just telling you about. Hot water heaters last on average 10 years. And the way you can maintain them is one thing I've read is that you can actually drain them, and draining them once a year will get rid of any sediment that happens to build up in the tank. That sediment is a problem and can cause your hot water heater to fail. So you can drain it yourself. You can have a plumber come out and drain it, inspect it, and make sure there are no signs of rust or corrosion or anything like that. When we replaced our hot water heater, we actually didn't wait for it to break or to stop working. You see, a lot of people think that, well, if my hot water heater goes, it means I'm going to have cold water. If that were only the case, that wouldn't be so bad. But a lot of times, and I probably think most times, when a hot water heater goes, what happens is it just starts leaking. And if you've got a 50-gallon hot water heater, that could be 50 gallons of water that's going to be going all over your floor. And if you've got carpeting or anything nearby, it's just a mess. You don't want to deal with that. So one thing you can do before your hot water heater fails, if you know that it lasts around 10 years, at that 10-year mark, get it replaced. Our hot water heater was actually 11 years old, and so we got lucky, but I didn't want to take any chances. We got it replaced. Now, I will give you a little bonus here. One thing you can do, a former client of mine, and now friend of mine, had alerted me to, and this is a great idea, you can actually buy a water alarm. And a water alarm is a little box, it's battery operated. You put it on your floor near anything that might have water, like a hot water heater, and it will actually send out a shrill, piercing alarm if any water should touch it. So if that hot water heater starts leaking, you're going to be able to find out about it and take care of it before you have a flood on your hands. So hot water heaters, 10 years. Now next we're going to be talking about your furnace and your central air units. Now a furnace and central air, they each should last approximately 15 to 20 years. Now on each of them, what you want to do is you want to have them regularly maintained. As far as the furnace goes, you want to make sure that someone comes out to just clean the burners and the flame sensor. You want to have those cleaned. You want to make sure that the fans inside are lubricated so that they spin well. And you want to make sure that you are changing your air filter regularly. I've been to homes on home inspections where they didn't know they should do that, and the home inspector pulled out the air filter and it looked like someone had dumped a vacuum bag there. You don't want that. That's going to do two things. It's going to get dust to go all through your air ducts, and on top of that, it's going to make your furnace run less efficiently, and that's going to mean more money out of your pocket. Air filters are very inexpensive. You can get more expensive ones, but they are inexpensive. They should be changed every 1 to 3 months, depending on the manufacturer's recommendations. You can get the cheapo ones that you replace once a month, and you can get the more expensive ones that can last for 3 months or more, but you definitely want to replace the filters. Now, when it comes down to the central air part of it, very similar. You want to have someone come out and just maintain your unit, give it a cleaning. The condenser, that's the part that sits outside. You want to make sure that it's clean, there's no pollen on it. You want to make sure that if there's any plants around it, that the plants are not obstructing it. Remember, there's got to be airflow through there, so you want to make sure there are no plants that are rubbing up against it or touching it. Just trim them all back. And again, just like with your furnace, you want to go and make sure, even during the summer, that you are changing your air filter regularly so that you can have good airflow and your central air unit will be keeping your house nice and cool. Next up, we're going to talk about windows. So windows should last in a home about 15 to 30 years. Now, obviously, if you get into a home with older windows, they're not going to be as energy efficient as if you have newer windows. So you might want to, just keep that in mind for budgeting purposes. Now, the best thing you can do for your windows is keep them clean, and especially keep the tracks clean where the windows go up and down. Because if those tracks get dirt and grime in them, it can affect the windows operating. Now, one thing you want to look out for is fogginess in your window. So sometimes you'll get some fog that'll come up between the window panes, and that happens because the seal that is holding those two window panes together has broken, and it's allowing air to get in. See, between those two window panes, usually there's a gas called argon that they pump in there. And argon actually prevents sunlight and heat and whatever from getting into your home too quickly. It slows it down. So when the argon leaves because of that crack in the seal, that allows air to get in and moisture, and that fog you're seeing is actually the moisture that is drying on the inside of the glass. You can't get rid of that. So there are companies that can come in and they can, remove the panes and clean them up and maybe even replace the glass. But that's going to be your only option when you do have a broken seal. Once again, with a broken seal, while they are, a little more difficult to see through, they can also affect the efficiency of the window. So they could let in more cold air. They could let in more heat during the summer. So if you do have any broken seals, take care of them. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is your roof. Now, a roof will last anywhere from 20 to 25 years. And the way you maintain your roof is you want to make sure there's no debris or anything else like that that's getting up there. So one thing you may have seen on roofs before is moss. Moss is really bad for asphalt shingles because it actually starts degrading the shingle and making it less efficient. And what'll happen is you're going to wind up needing a new roof sooner rather than later. So you can get up on your roof, you can brush that moss off, you can use soap and water with a non-pressured hose to wash it off as well. Do not use a pressure washer on a roof because, first of all, roofs are meant to allow rain to hit them, but a pressure washer can damage the roof, it can get water to go under the roof, it's just a big mess. No pressure washers when cleaning your roof. Now, all of these items, to repair them or replace them, costs money. So I've got a fantastic idea for you. What you should do is set up a home maintenance fund. And that's basically a fund where you put money aside every month that will be just for home maintenance purposes. So a good rule of thumb, you can have one of two of these rules of thumb you can use. The first is that you should put aside 1% of the value of your home every year into this bank account. So if your home, for example, is worth $300,000, 1% of $300,000 would be $3,000 that you should set aside every year. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, you can actually take your mortgage payment, remember your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and you can take 10% of that payment and put it aside every month. So if your mortgage payment is $2,000, take 10%, $200, put it into a bank account and forget about it. Just leave it there and let it get a little bit of interest. Now, what I like to do is have an online bank account. So it's separate from your regular money. You're not going to see it, you won't touch it, and you won't miss it. Now, it might seem like a lot saying, hey, I'm just going to put another $200 aside every month. But if you have something happen like your furnace going or your central air or your hot water heater, you're going to be thankful that you have that money and you don't have to worry about it. Now listen, if you have questions about maintaining your home or if you have questions about any part of the real estate process, there's a fantastic resource. It's my website. You can find me at www.MoveMeMark.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you missed our last episode, I've got it right here for you. And here's another episode that YouTube thinks you should watch. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that circle and subscribe so you don't miss out. And I'll see you next time for more Monday Mornings with Mark. You have a great week.